Prime Minister Skerrit says prudent management of the economy is the reason for Dominica's access to global financial assistance. An opposition MP calls for penalties associated with marital rape to be reviewed, and patrons can expect tighter security for the 13th annual Creole in the Park. I am Iduna John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. This is Channel 5 News. First up, the debate on amendments to the Sexual Offences Act began at Friday's morning session of Parliament as the legislation came up for second and third readings. Prime Minister Skerrit told Parliament that while government could not prevent certain behaviors in society, government has to ensure those behaviors are regulated through legislation.
It's unfortunate that society has come to this. It is a societal issue, and it's going to require a societal response. We cannot blame the Prime Minister or the Minister for Education if a child gets pregnant at school. And while the state will do what it has to do, because we have also approved, Madam Speaker, in the Cabinet, a policy to guide the clergy. I met with a wide cross-section of society, consulting them on this legislation, on the issues confronting our children and society, and what can we do from their perspective. So all of these concerns, all of these recommendations through the consultation are captured here.
The Prime Minister also would like to see reports of abuse on men by their spouses taken seriously.
The national security apparatus must be a little more sensitive to those reports. That not only when a woman comes to report they've been abused, we must take it seriously, but when a man comes to report that he's been abused, we must also take it seriously, Madam Speaker.
Meantime, opposition parliamentarian Joseph Isaac has asked for a further review of penalties associated with marital rape in the amended legislation. Isaac supports the amendments to the Sexual Offences Act. However, he has an issue with the marital rape aspect.
So, Madam Speaker, my concern there is, and I'm talking about a real concern, that if a wife or a husband had legitimate sex with the partner, and because of some new circumstance, there become a grudge, a hurt because of that new circumstance, can the removal of that section move the law to be frivolous, Madam Speaker, where a frivolous complaint can be made because of pain caused by some other reason, Madam Speaker, for example, infidelity.
The Roseau Central member says he would like parliamentarians to consider revisiting the marital rape penalty with certain conditions.
So, let's say you have legitimate sex, and then now, 2 days after, a week after, your spouse, your husband or wife find out that you were infidel and decide to launch a charge of rape against you. What are we saying in this honorable house about that section? Should we consider that, notwithstanding that there is a statute of limitation, should we put a section where we can safeguard that area? So I'm just saying, since we are here in the house talking about amendments and we have not amended yet, let us consider that section. So, Madam Speaker, so I feel strongly on that section.
Senator Felix Thomas was another opposition parliamentarian who endorsed the amendments to the Sexual Offences Act. Government parliamentarians Roslyn Paul, Senator Francine Barron, Dr. Kenneth Daru, and Catherine Daniel also contributed to that debate. Parliament was adjourned Friday morning and is expected to resume Monday at 2:30 p.m. As the House of Assembly wrapped up the debate on the supplementary appropriation bill, the Prime Minister once again rubbished the tabling of a vote of no confidence against him. Andrea Louis has more.
Proceedings of the House got underway on Wednesday with the opposition tabling a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister, a motion which was defeated with 14 noes and 1 abstention. In wrapping up the discussion on the $103.8 million supplementary bill, the Prime Minister once again pointed out what he said was the futility of the motion of no confidence against him.
So not only was I and my cabinet prepared to defend the sterling track record of his government, we advanced the debate to the #1 item on the agenda, Madam Speaker. And it is rather unfortunate that persons allow their ego, their lack of respect, their lack of tolerance, their lack of respect for the rule of law and order to get to the fore of what they considered to have been an important matter to be brought to the debate in the Parliament, that is a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister of this country.
The opposition was tabling the motion based on their claim that the Prime Minister had mismanaged the country's economy. However, Skerrit says that records prove otherwise.
But they talk about the national debt. And if you're going to compare when I came into office as Prime Minister and now, you must bring statistics. You must bring data to compare that which existed then and what exists now. But I will remind the people of this country that when I became Prime Minister of Dominica and when this Labour Party took office in 2000, the debt to GDP in Dominica was 130%. This government has managed the affairs of this country in a responsible, prudent manner and has met the test and the support of the international regional community. And Madam Speaker, today, as we speak, central government's debt to GDP ratio, Madam Speaker, is 65.2%, Madam.
The Prime Minister further highlighted that government's credibility and prudent management of state finances, which he believes continue to ensure continued financial assistance from international organizations.
Next week, the government will sign with the European Union a financing agreement for 8.9 million euros. That is coming out of the European Union's additional commitment to respond to Tropical Storm Erica. And we want to thank the European Union for this assistance. And as I have said before on behalf of the government, we intend to put this entire 8.9 million euros into the continuation of the improvement to farm roads in Dominica.
Thursday evening's sitting of the House also saw the International Business Companies Amendment Act, Value Added Tax Amendment Act, and International Exempt Trust Amendment Act being read 3 times and passed. The Tax Information Exchange Amendment Act is to be revisited at a later date. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
In other news, 60-year-old Teresa Anthony Lapinard of Trafalgar has won the 2016 Madam Wop Duet from a field of 6 contestants. Here is that moment when the announcement was made at Arawak House of Culture on Thursday night.
And ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Madam Wop Duet, Teresa Anthony Lapinard.
Lapinard also received prizes for Best Performing Talent and Best in Wop Duet. She was followed by Stephanie Bellot Sorrento in first runner-up position, and Huguette Saint-Hilaire, second runner-up, who also got the prize for Best Creole Contemporary Wear. Independence activities continue with Market Day with a Difference in Portsmouth and the Tea Matador Show on Saturday afternoon at 4 at Arawak, and Heritage Day celebrations in Maho on Sunday from 10 a.m. Our next story is a reminder that while Dominica does have a lot to offer tourists, the lack of proper access to the attractions can sometimes be an issue. Here is Deslin Joseph with that report.
Channel 5 News has paid a visit to the Spani waterfall where efforts are being made to improve it as a tourist site. Over a year ago, an incident occurred involving a young man who needed medical assistance at the site, but due to the unfavorable conditions at the entrance, the man had to be carried to the ambulance waiting on the main road.
Whereas if we have motorable roads, we'll be able to drive him and it will only be about 5 to 10 minutes walk. So it's really good to have the roads in good condition. We did get a beating from Hurricane Matthew. As I said, I was sort of surprised how much damage we got on the road, because last year we got assistance. We had a friend, Christian Clay. We rode to Garakan and they gave us a heavy equipment. It was graded, but after Matthew, it got back in bad condition. So we're looking to see if we can do some drainage and throw some tarish on there. Hopefully that will get us through the season.
The association has spent over $7,000 over the past 3 weeks to complete projects including steps to safeguard visitors and boarding of the trail grounds.
We cannot wait until that funds because there's so much red tape within the ministry. We're hoping that they will be able to speed up certain projects like that because the season is upon us. So we have to take our funds from the association and then we would have to put it in. Try to go as much as possible. The funds that, if we get funds from the government, it's not going to replace anything. We're just going to use it to further the development.
The biggest project, however, costing over $20,000 is the platform at the site itself.
3 weeks ago, when we came there, we realized after Matthew, the deck was in wood, hardwood from the rainforest. From year to year, when we came, we would have to keep replacing the boards because the area is saturated with rain water. So we took a decision at a board level to put it in concrete. So it took me 2 weeks to break down the deck and put it in concrete. As you can see, we have a nice concrete deck. We are waiting right now to do a covering, so we can cover the deck properly. So when you come into the rainforest, you take that nice walk for 15 minutes into the Spani waterfall. If it rains, you will not get wet.
Well, there you have it. Mr. Scotland is pleading for assistance to develop the beautiful Spani waterfall. Deslin Joseph reporting for Channel 5 News.
Thanks, Deslin, for that story. Coming up, Creole in the Park, traffic and security, what you need to know, as well as sports and weather. Stay with us. Welcome back. A relocated bus stop and no parking on select streets. Just some of the changes the motoring public will have to adhere to come next week. Andrea Louis explains.
The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is teaming up with Flow to ensure the successful hosting of Creole in the Park, and as such, traffic changes are on the cards to allow for an incident-free event in the Botanic Gardens.
There will be no entry from the intersection of Bath Road and King George V Street on Valley Road. There will be no entry at the intersection of Independence Street and Virgin Lane, meaning that vehicles will not be allowed to travel eastward along Virgin Lane from Independence Street. There will be a no entry to Boyd's Avenue from Bath Road.
There will be no parking along Bath Road from the intersection of Independence Street and High Street, that's by the public cemetery. There will also be no parking on Valley Road from Coca-Cola Factory west to Bath Road. And the Mont Prosper Loda bus stop will be temporarily relocated.
The Mont Prosper Loda bus stop will be relocated from Boyd's Avenue to the area between Virgin Lane and King George V Street on Bath Road. Persons collecting their children, that's the school children from the Convent High School and the Convent Prep at the Botanical Gardens, will be granted access to do so between 12:30 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. on the days of Creole in the park.
A diversion sign will be placed at the intersection of Virgin Lane and Bath Road upon conclusion of the event each day. And there will also be modification to the parking areas in the vicinity of the event.
There will be parking on the western side of Elms Hall Road between the Eastern Botanical Gardens Gate and Valley Road. The western side of the Link Road, that is opposite the Forestry and Wildlife Building, and also the Link Road parking lot, which is located north of the Roseau River.
Motorists will also be able to utilize any available ordinary parking within the city. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Security at the 13th edition of Creole in the Park will be beefed up to ensure the security of patrons during the 4-day event. Manager of Platinum Security says apart from having security cameras at strategic locations at the venue, a high-quality camera will be utilized for one of the most high-risk areas at the event.
We'll be also introducing, as promised to Mr. Baptist, a particular high-res PTZ camera on the stage. Now, for us, we consider that area to be a high-risk area of a lot of activity. All the images of the cameras that will be transmitted back to the police in their monitoring booth, or what you call the command point. They in turn will assess the situation as it evolves and determine whether or not they will respond to a particular incident or not. The cameras have the capabilities of zooming as far back as the furthest gate and getting facial recognition to alert them and to advise them as to what to do in the next situation.
In keeping with a high level of security at the event, patrons will be screened by police at the main and secondary entry points. The public is also warned not to carry weapons onto the compound.
Persons who are found with any article which fits the description of an offensive weapon, that is to say, knife, cutlass, scissors, ice picks, or nail files, will be removed from the venue and dealt with according to law. There will absolutely be no compromise. There is no justifiable reason why someone would want to have any of those articles in their possession at the venue. My advice to those persons who are thinking of coming to the venue with weapons, save yourself the embarrassment.
Vendors are warned against vending on Boyd's Avenue or Valley Road. A U.S. wildlife biologist is recommending that children be empowered to understand the impact of climate change. Dr. Gillian Bowser recently visited Dominica to introduce a climate change program to the Kalinago territory. She thinks proper education of local communities could strengthen efforts at cushioning the effects of climate change.
The first thing to cushion the effects of climate change is awareness. You need to be aware of what has changed, what has shifted, or what has moved, or what is new. So the first thing is understanding that we need to know what is here and what might be new to here. So a local person walking knows what species they normally see at what time, or they normally see between flowers or whatever, and they see something new. That's where these observations become very important. But the other side is getting students, children from the community engaged in science, so that as we try and adapt to climate change or mitigate to climate change, we have local expertise to help us answer it.
Several road network upgrades are underway in the Maho constituency as preparations pick up for the hosting of Heritage Day 2016. Over $200,000 have been allocated for roadworks in Belfast.
If you were to traverse, as you have done earlier on, in the upper Belfast area, the road, of course, that is normally used whenever we have an activity in the Mao area, vehicular traffic is actually diverted to that area. The road there is in a very deplorable condition, so we are spending in the region of $210,000 to actually improve the road in the upper Belfast area.
A washroom facility on the Maho playing field is also being constructed to the tune of $44,000.
When we had originally conceptualized the renovation of the playing field itself and rehabilitation. It was always my plan to actually construct proper washroom facility, including showers for both women and men. But we have been able to actually get the funding, and a request was made to the Honorable Prime Minister, and then we have a local contractor. We are spending $44,000 to actually build that washroom facilities. We're hoping, as we're here, that the road project that we have seen earlier on will be completed in time for the hosting of the Heritage Day and also the washroom facility.
Heritage Day celebrations will be held on Sunday, the 23rd of October. That's news. Kenny Williams comes up next with your sports highlights.
First up, Pakistan finished day one of their second test against West Indies on 304 for 4 after 84 overs on Friday. Yunus Khan topped this batting for Pakistan with 127 after he was caught by Craig Brathwaite. Misbah-ul-Haq supported with 90 not out and Asad Shafiq 68. Shannon Gabriel picked up 2 for 43 for West Indies with single wickets coming from Craig Brathwaite and Devendra Bishu. In football, the first round of the 2016 Flow DFA Premier League will come to an end with 4 matches over the weekend. On Saturday, Caribbean Cooler Harlem United will take on Tajiko Southeast at the Jubila playing field, while at Benjamin's Park it will be Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers versus Middleham United. Both games begin at 4 p.m. In a doubleheader on Sunday, defending champion Central Cooperative Credit Union Jubila Football Club will battle Batter State FC at 3, to be followed by Petro Caribbean Point Michelle against Exodus Football Club at 6 p.m. Meantime, 6 goals from Richard Pale-Louis helped put his team in the lead to give St. John's Academy an 11-2 pounding in the Secondary Schools Football Championships on Friday. Single goals came from Cody Paul, O'Malley Rabes, Owen Joseph, Tyson Swade and Kyle Langley for PSS. Contending for SJA were the twins, Lamar and Lamar Irish, who scored 2 goals apiece. In the St. Martin's Academy versus Pure Child Secondary game, SMA also won 11-2. Daniel Dupini registered a hat-trick, Danielson Mahote 2, Fitzroy Benjamin 2, Zion Emmanuel 1, Nael Geist 1, Taj Tavernier 1 and Jerome Morancy 1. Brendan Lawrence and Neil Maxim scored for PCSS. Over at Dublin, Isaiah Thomas Secondary defeated Goodwill Secondary 2-0. Michael Joseph and Ricky Whalen scored for ITSS. And Castlebrew Secondary won by default in their match against Northeast Comprehensive. More cricket now, we can tell you that Sri Lanka defeated West Indies A by 138 runs in the third unofficial test on Friday. After leading by 286 runs and scoring 211 for 5 in 61 overs in the second innings on Thursday, the Sri Lankan side declared on 257 for 6 on Friday. Their top scorer was Asela Gunaratne with 69, followed by Sandon Wirokodi, 48. Set 333 to win, the Windies fell short and were bowled out for 194 in 67.2 overs. Shamar Brooks, 46, Kiran Porel, 44, and Rajendra Chandrika, 30. Jeffrey Vendersay went through the Windies batting lineup, taking 6 for 47. Sri Lanka won the 3-match series 2-1. Moving on to handball. Dominica boys beat Barbados 29-19 in the 2016 International Handball Federation's Caribbean Tournament on Friday. Meantime, in recent matches, our boys went down to Martinique 7-35. The girls lost to Guadeloupe 5-55. Speaking with Channel 5 Sports, Coach Joel Hamilton said some of the athletes suffered injuries while in Guadeloupe, but are doing rehabilitation work to improve their chances at the competition moving forward. The championship continues on Saturday with placement matches and the grand final on Saturday. Next up, Dominica topped the overall performances in this week's sporting events for local and regional firefighters here. General Secretary for the Dominica Firefighters Association, Rosanette Peltier, says the biennial program should help foster stronger ties among regional countries.
The benefit which everybody can attest to is that the relationship that you create from all the member territories, that's really one of the benefits. We have also seen the benefits from having this relationship after the passage of Tropical Storm Erika, where we had persons from the different member countries contributing towards relief and also coming in to assist. So it's not just through sports.
A number of sporting activities, including sprint events, the non-traditional lime and egg racing, sack racing, and an intense fitness challenge were part of the program's activities. At the end of the competition, Dominica placed first, followed by Guyana and Martinique. Other participating countries were Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and Tortola. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Do have yourself an awesome weekend.
The weather forecast is next.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery. Despite the dominance of weak unstable conditions, limited convection was observed across the islands during today. Now off to the east, an area of convection associated with an approaching tropical wave expected in our area by Sunday morning. Now taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery and what it showed. A few low-level clouds which moved across the region today, and this resulted in fair to partly cloudy skies across Dominica. And off to the east, some multi-layered clouds associated with the approaching tropical wave. Now taking a look at earlier radar imagery and what it indicated. A few scattered showers mainly off to the east of the islands. Tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with a few passing showers, and tomorrow's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with some early morning showers, becoming increasingly cloudy with scattered showers by late afternoon. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers, you're advised to exercise some caution. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected tomorrow. However, as we move into Sunday, an increasing cloudiness with scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms can be expected mainly during the morning on Sunday, with a relative improvement in conditions as the day progresses. By Monday, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected. For the rest of the Caribbean, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected throughout most of the region during tomorrow. Our international cities forecast: cloudy skies with some rain expected in New York, clear skies expected in Miami and Beijing, partly cloudy skies expected in London, with some showers and thunderstorm activity expected in Caracas. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:59 a.m. and sunset will be at 5:41 p.m. Please remember that we are in hurricane season. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Skerrit says prudent management of the economy is the reason for Dominica's access to global financial assistance. An opposition MP calls for penalties associated with marital rape to be reviewed, and patrons can expect tighter security for the 13th annual Creole in the Park. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Iduna John Baptist, and to all our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.